Hey everyone, before we get into episode 1 of our Goblin Slayer game here and the campaign, I just wanted to let you know, because I forgot to mention it during the actual game, that all of the maps you're going to see in today's episode are by the fellow from Patreon by the name of Ways Unseen. He also goes by the name The Lone Adventurer on YouTube, so there will be links in the description for both of his YouTube channel and his Patreon, where you can also get these really great maps. Now, the other thing, too, about Ways Unseen's Patreon is that not only does he have these regional maps and dungeon maps and local maps, towns and whatnot, he also does isometric maps, which I'm really hoping to figure out how to get how to get Foundry to work with isometric maps, because that'll be really fun. The other thing is, about halfway through the recording, I lost power. There was a microburst storm that came through, high winds, knocked a dead tree down in the backyard, and actually a couple towns over where one of the players lives, and my father, there was a tornado warning. Now, tornado warnings for our area is extremely uncommon. It does happen, but it's like a 1% chance every year that there might be a tornado. So while we were dealing with loss of electricity and internet, we also had a crazy tornado warning go through. So if there's a weird jump in the scene, that's why. It'll also be described once we get back into the game as well. So I just want to give you those heads up on both Ways Unseen and The Lone Adventurer, same person. Does really great artwork, so I highly recommend you check out his stuff, and the fact that I lost power. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's get into Session 1 of our Goblin Slayer campaign. Alright everyone, we are in this now. We are officially playing our first game of Goblin Slayer, which hopefully will go pretty well. Who knows how many hiccups we'll come across, because we are using my, Goblin Slayer beta game system here, so it could be great, it could be terrible, who knows? But in any effect,
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
I mean, we're gonna take this slow, so, anytime we have anything to encounter, we're gonna have to check the rules book, because I've read the rules once, and I probably retained about 50% of it. I've been rereading the rules as I've been creating the game system, so who knows what'll happen here. I've got a general sense of what to do and what to check and what will be going on, but we'll be making sure to check like the flow chart that they give you in the book to make sure we get combat right and other various factors for that, especially if we're using spells and what have you. Just one more thing I wanted to remind people. I found this one, I totally must have glanced over it or something, but there's a critical hit table officially in the game. One good thing to note is that minions will never critically hit you, so you don't have to worry about minions. It's just the bosses that could critically hit you, but you guys can always critically hit the minions, which will be fun. There's a 1d6 table of adding conditions and whatnot to the monsters. The other thing is that...
Well, that greatly reduces the chance of you wiping us out on the first encounter.
Yeah, exactly. There is a small chance that a minion could technically critically hit you. If you critically fail your dodge check, that's when a minion can critically hit you, because anytime someone critically fails, unless the roll itself, like the opposing roll, is also a critical fail, it's a critical hit when you fail a dodge check or fail a roll, like critically failing, that's when you can get critically hit. So that one's on you guys.
Good thing I'm not dodging.
Yes, exactly. The only way...
Oh, that's all on me.
There is a way to cancel out critical hits, though. If your dodge or block check, I believe, is also a critical, then you negate the critical hit. So there's a give and take to the system, which is really nice. And then, a critical miss on a hit always misses regardless. There's... Unless the players use their fate system that we were just describing before starting the recording here, you could turn a critical miss into a... Actually, no, I think that would just turn that into a regular miss.
Yeah.
So, there's something to consider there. If you guys want to avoid being critically hit from a critical like a critically missed dodge or something to that effect. But we'll get to that can of worms if it comes up. All right, so any questions before we dive into this game?
Do our characters meet at the tavern?
Almost. And actually, speaking of which, let me get some music going. So, at one point or another, your characters have all met, and maybe you decided to go to the Adventurers Guild, where you are standing outside. Technically, right now, the building I put your tokens at is the Adventurers Guild here. In most cases, towns will put the Adventurers Guild on the outskirts of the town to, make sure any kind of rabble or people that have like ill repute will be on the outskirts of town and not towards the center. And the Adventurers Guild is usually filled with everything you would need. Item shops, armorers, restaurants, a tavern, an inn. So these buildings for the Adventurers Guild are usually pretty big. This particular town, the town of Riverbank, is actually a little smaller than your typical Adventurers Guild. Across the street is more of the inn and tavern, but the Adventurers Guild itself on this particular side has pretty much everything else you could need. And if not, the center of town will have everything else that you might or could want to buy. Everything else in this town of Riverbank is, going to be farms, some farms, mostly homes, maybe some other official businesses and whatnot, but we will figure that out when we need to get around to those areas. For the time being, the Adventurers Guild and the associated but not joined Adventurers Guild restaurant and tavern and inn is across the street. Now, the lot of you walk into the Adventurers Guild, and you meet Guild Boy. Guild Boy runs the counter, accepts quests that adventurers pick, and gives the paperwork to every new and inspiring, adventurer. Guild Boy is a very put-out type of character. They don't really hold themselves to high esteem. There isn't a lot of pressure put on them to act and behave a certain way, and this particular character, this young boy here, has this teenager, very nonchalant, doesn't really care, the ennui, so to say. So
the minimum wage worker.
Yes, exactly. When you come in and you tell them, hey, look, I'm ready to be an adventurer, they go, okay, great, and pulls out a couple pieces of paper, hands you a paper, and has you start filling out the paperwork to become an adventurer. Ironically enough, the paperwork looks very similar to a character sheet that we might, fill out when we're creating our characters. And it asks for your statistics, height, weight, information about yourself, just in case anything were to go wrong. They know roughly what you look like, your race, your skin colorations, what type of class you are, so all these other information, and it's your record that the guild keeps of you in case of any kind of issues. When you finish signing your, basically signing your life here to become an adventurer, you raise your head up, you smile, look at Guild Boy here, and hand the papers over. And Guild Boy looks at the paperwork, goes, yep, I guess this is good. Slides it off to the side with the other stacks of papers that he probably has to get to at some point. And he goes, okay, there's the adventure board. Have fun. And he goes, before you go, he walks, during the time period while you were printing out some stuff, a small little porcelain medallion has been imprinted with your name and information and put on a chain and handed to each of you. You are all official porcelain ranked adventurers for the Adventurer Guild here in the world of Goblin Slayer. Now that you have your rank tags, anyone that sees the rank and the tag will know that you are indeed parts of the adventurer, and you are kept to a certain level of decorum, so to say. Like, they expect adventurers to be on their best behaviors, to act in a very professional manner, and to uphold the laws of the guild, and this is what helps you get higher ranks, as well as completing adventures and what have you. You're able to, only raise up provided you are making a good image for the guild. So there are the time comes for promotions, there may be inquiries of your behavior and whatnot to see how you're holding yourself up. There could be follow up. Some people from the guild can go and follow up with the quest. The people that have requested the quests and whatnot, the adventures, and we'll check in to make sure that you've been on your quote-unquote best behavior, so to say. But in any event, Guild Boy kind of flicks his wrist and goes, yes, the quest board's over there. You're a little late for the newest quests, but I'm sure there's something there for you. Good luck. And he turns to the papers that you have been, have added yours to them, taps them, gets them all aligned, and walks off to the back of the office and walks through a door. And before you, as you look around the rest of the guild hall here, are a variety of adventurers of different levels. You find yourselves looking and staring at a few different, maybe silver ranked, ruby ranked, emerald ranks, even some obsidian ranked, and other porcelain ranked members that are kind of crowded around the guild board. People are pulling off quests that are available, and there's a good amount, even though here in Riverbank, they're, you're kind of far away and removed from the more chaoticness of bigger cities. There's still a good amount of quests that are being requested every day from nearby villages and towns and whatnot. What would the three of you like to do?
I'll try to see if I can muscle in on the job board.
Okay. And this is Quinlan, one of our three adventurers here. Quinlan, would you mind just describing yourself for everyone so we know what you look like as an adventurer?
Kind of a wayfish-looking elf with dark hair, curly hair, and he carries a crossbow at his back, and he doesn't really seem heavily armored either. That's about all I got.
Okay. Oh, hold on a minute. What is going on? Trying to double-click your character sheet and nothing is coming up. I can't even, switch characters. Let me reload my page real quick.
Oh.
I bet I have to restart the music, don't I? Oh, no, there it goes. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something weird happened with Foundry. I had to reload my page. Okay, so bit of a wayfish character here, and yes, so you're gonna muscle in over to over there to the message board.
Well, if I can.
Oh, of course, you can push your way through. While you are pushing your way through, many of the current quests are being pulled down. They seem to be kind of sorted, in a sense, as you look at the board. Porcelain ranks and the like, obsidian, and so on down. Let's see here. Steel, they're kind of more towards the left side of the board, while emerald, ruby, emerald, sapphire, ruby are kind of in the middle of the board, and then copper and above are more towards the right of the board. So there is... The porcelain section is kind of a bit more crowded, porcelain, obsidian, and steel, and a bunch of the quests seem to be, pulled quickly and removed while you're making your way over there to grab something. But you do see a few as they start the message board starts to clear out for the quests and whatnot. And as you get closer and you start looking at some of the some of the quests, you see three particular ones with the following names. You have one that's called Strange Whispers, another one that is labeled Aggressive Rats, and the third one is called Farm Pillaging Goblins. any of these in particular you'd like to take a closer look at?
All right.
I'll look at aggressive rat.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me see. I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to show this to all of you guys. All right. What did you just get shown?
Just
Made him
popped up
say
Goblin
well.
Slayer, or Slain
Mhm.
Goblin,
Unless it was just a bad badge to begin with.
That's
at least for the
Mm.
Valiant quest.
Uh-oh. All right. I think I may have shown you
You
everything.
gotta scroll down to.
I think you did.
Yeah. Okay. Delete that if you can. Quickly. I was hoping it would show you just the one page, but showing you everything. I made a whoopsie.
Pop up.
Yeah.
Okay. So for
Makes any difference? I didn't do anything.
what's that? There, Quinlan?
Makes any difference? I didn't read anything. I was quickly scrolling through just to see what it was showing.
Okay. All right. So aggressive rats. The requester is the Adventurers Guild themselves. This one is. You can gather pretty much a repetitive quest. This one is always more or less here, but it is for the town of Riverbank itself. And the complaint is that giant rats are evading town during daytime hours. And there is a comment saying that giant rats are reported invading Riverbank during daytime hours. This is unusual for rats, as they usually are nocturnal creatures, and the overnight guard manages their numbers. Investigate why the rats are more aggressive and seemingly displaced from their nests. The reward is 9 silver pieces per adventurer if you decide to take aggressive rats.
I'm going to pull it down and at least bring it over to the others.
Okay.
Let them know that, for a first adventure, this seems to be rather fitting.
Clearing up rats is not something I would have imagined an adventurer would be doing. But I guess somebody has to.
And what about Ghost? Any thoughts, Ghost? Oh, maybe Ghost.
Most usually start with a humble beginning, so this seems like it would fit us well.
Okay. When you are finished and happy with the quest you've decided to take, you should take it back to Guild Boy to let them know that you are taking this quest. They will make a note, and then you can begin your adventure to try and figure out what's going on with these rats.
Alright, well, I'll bring it up to the desk then, and assuming that he's still in back, I'll wait for Gilboy to come back.
Oh, yes. While you were milling through the other adventurers, Guild Boy is already back at his seat, and once again leaning on his cheek, elbow on the countertop, and resting his hand on his cheek on his fist, and looks at you very through the tops of his eyes. And he goes, "Oh, good, you've picked a quest. Well then, let's see which one you've picked." And he reaches out to take the paper from you.
I hand it to him.
Okay. Oh, good. Someone's going to deal with the rats. Yep. Looks at you, looks at the quest, looks back at the other two of you. Okay. I've made a note here, and you see him writing down some stuff in his notes and journal here for keeping track of who's taking which quests. And he goes, "All right, well, you can keep this if you'd like. Best of luck. Please report back in when you've completed the quest, and you'll get your reward, but only after the quest has been successful. Best of luck." Yes.
Alright, I'll fold up the flyer and put it in my armor then.
Okay. All right. Well, you have your first quest that you've picked, and you are suggested to traverse the town of Riverbank here to explore and find out what the deal is and why these rats are so aggressive and what they're doing showing up in the daytime hours. What would you like to do?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking maybe check out food stalls first, because if they're coming out in the daytime, they might be raiding for food.
Or looks like there might be some sort of like farmlands or something on the outskirts. But definitely some sort of food source.
Yes. So I think this place would be more. It's for farming.
Let's ask the guards first, because they deal with the rats most often.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, so you guys head out into town and begin speaking to the, heading around and looking for some guards. It's not hard to find guards. There's a few, patrolling through the area, and, placed on the outskirts of town. So, there might be some guards posted underneath this bridge here heading to the east out of town. Definitely following the roads. It doesn't take long to find, a guard here or there. And you find a couple, Dwarf Guard and Rhea Guard. So we have a Rhea and a Dwarf that seemingly are, walking with each other. And they're in some pretty standard gear for guards of the town. They have maybe some swords or a spear or so. And one's chatting with the other. The Rhea is a little bit more chatty than the Dwarf. But the Dwarf listens and they kind of go back and forth. What would you like to do? How do you approach these guards? Who approaches the guards?
I guess I would approach the guards. Oh, guards, we have questions for you if you don't mind.
And the dwarf turns to you, the dwarf guard, looks and goes with a much delighted look on his face to go. And his buddy, the Rhea, it's like, oh, and we're going to go do this and whatnot and after work, and it's going to be so much great. And the dwarf just kind of palms the Rhea's face with his hand to shut him up and turns to you and goes, ah, yes. It's good to see some more adventurers. Ah, and freshly minted, I see. Those are some really nice-looking porcelain tags you have there. What was the question again? I totally lost it. I was getting the
No, just that I had a question.
Oh, yes. Yes, please. What can I do for you, my elfish friend? What questions do you have? I'd be pleasant to talk with someone else for a moment.
Recently, we had accepted a guild contract to slay some rats that had been appearing during daytime, and we were wondering if you knew what areas they were targeting so we could quickly take them out.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't normally deal with the rats myself because I'm more of the day shift here. I do have some of my companions that are more the night shift guards for the town here, and they have been complaining about massive rats coming in. And, if you look around, you might actually see some. And both the dwarf and the Rhea start looking around. If everyone wants to make an observation check from your character sheets, if you go to your character sheets in the stats tab and go to the special checks, one of the two eyeballs, I don't remember which one it is. Yeah, we'll say observe next to it. So it's the clear eyeball. You guys can make some observation checks to see if you see any rats currently.
Adding any extra modifiers from skills or other sources.
Okay, so Quinlan
Did I
rolled
do it right?
a 15. And we got a critical failure
All
for
right,
the ghost.
I'm off to a good start.
Okay.
Womp womp.
Now this is interesting. Why did Dragon Knight not get his level added into the roll? Let me double check some things here real quick.
I should have added the levels, sorry.
No. When you do an observation check, it should pull it automatically. You shouldn't have to add that in. But for some reason, when you clicked on it, it didn't get added in, which is really strange.
Some modifiers from skills or other sources here. And I clicked cancel.
Oh, I see. Hold on. No, it's not. That's right. If you go into the Goblin Slayer rules, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me see here. All players can observe. In the journals thing is the Goblin Slayer's rules. In the list of checks for observation, it's intelligence focus plus ranger or scout level, and then any bonuses from the observe skill. I got confused when it said level, and I thought it was your adventurer level, but that's only for specific skill checks. So that's why
And
it's working.
I don't have any of those levels, so I don't get any of those bonuses.
Exactly. Yep. So, for instance, Quinlan has 1 level of ranger, and Ghost has 2 levels of scout. I might have to update a little bit to get the actual class level, but good to know that it's working. Unfortunately, that was a critical failure for Ghost, and maybe it's too bright out here, Ghost, for you, as you sound the way your character sounds. You prefer to work in the dark. Yeah, so what do you think there, Ghost in the Night? How do you think this critical failure, as you try to look around for some rats, plays out for you?
Be right back.
Oh, did he say he's going to be right back? Someone said that. Oh, it's a little choppy. I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, something simple.
Now, what was it? Because, unfortunately, I think it's my end. So, like, I'm getting choppy interference.
She said the sun was in his eyes.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
My end too. I
Yeah, I don't know what's going on my end. I'm getting... You know, let me reconnect to voice. Maybe that's something I can... I'll be right back. Hold on. We'll try that again. We'll see what happens. All right, so you were saying the sun was in your eyes?
Yeah. Yeah, just, we just came out of, a building, so it's probably a little darker than it is out in the daytime.
Okay,
So I still haven't finished adjusting to the daylight.
gotcha. I had to reload my page again. Oh, man. Hold up. I think... X. Oh. I think I know what that problem is. Drag ruler. Let me get rid of that.
The technical difficulties screen slowly appears.
Sorry, I have to reload Foundry again. There's a conflict with one of the modules I added in, and I think it's the drag ruler that I popped on. There we go. Okay, that's much better. Now I can move you guys. All right. the fun of game creation and whatnot. All right, so sun was in the eyes for Ghost, and yes, the dwarf points around and goes, yeah, if you look around, and sure enough, Dragon Knight and Quinlan, you both notice, sure enough, where you follow guard dwarf's finger, like off in the distance. He goes, yep, there's one right now. They kind of keep their distance from town a little bit. Some do venture in here and there, but for the most part, they seem a little lost and confused. Not quite sure what the problem is there, but for whatever reason, they don't seem to be really attacking anything in particular. Like, they're not going for our food stores. They're just... It seems like they're displaced. It's really a little confused, I think. Something's wrong, per se. I don't know. Beyond that, that's about all I've noticed. And the Raya himself, I was like, yeah, I've seen more or less the same thing. Exactly what he's saying. Haha. Yes. Anything else? And he goes, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I mean, beyond those, and it's great to hear that people are taking care of these rats to help us out here.
In real life, so...
I'm back now.
Ah, okay. Welcome back, Mike.
Sorry,
Just in time!
What did you say there, Dragon Knight? It was garbled again for me.
Yeah, it was out of character.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that's everything. Thank you, Fritz. We appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. Anytime. And if you need anything else, we're always happy to help out the Adventurers Guild and adventurers. So, we'll take care and good luck finishing this quest. It'll be extremely helpful. And the Ray's like, yeah, can't wait. Hopefully you do some good here, and let us know how it goes. I'm always up for adventures of you, tales of you adventurers. So, moving on from the guards, they've given you some notes of like what might be going on with these rats. What else do you want to do?
I got nothing.
I mean, we have a rat right here. Technically.
Do you
We
want
could
to
try to follow it, but I don't know if that would do any good.
Okay. Yeah, so for instance, where the dwarf guard and the Rhea were pointing was kind of out into this direction where the rat was. So let me see here. Yeah, so you see like a giant rat kind of out in the distance meandering through the bushes and whatnot. Out this way.
Yeah, I mean, if they're forming a nest somewhere out here, then following it's a good idea.
All right. Well, do you want to scare it? Do you want to kind of stealth and follow it? What do you want to do? How do you want to get close to this thing?
Probably scaring it chases them would be easiest for all of us.
I mean, especially for me. Because right now I have -8 to stealth. Well, from my equipment at least.
Well, just as a refresher, let me see here. Even with the -8 for stealth, if we look at the checks here, and let me go to stealth. Stealth is your technique, focus, plus scout or ranger level, and any bonuses from stealth.
So, +5, so I got -3.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so
Do you remember how I said I was gonna be the tank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm being the loud tank.
Oh yes, for sure.
No, you just have that advanced stealthing. Clang, 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 clang.
No,
He is
advanced
the
stuff
clank
is-
tank.
No, the advanced stuff is you don't leave anyone to witness your stealthing.
The advanced stealth techniques.
Well, I guess we should probably scare the rat then.
All right, well, go ahead and you guys can move your characters up kind of close to the rat there, and then we'll see about what we do for some kind of an intimidation check here. Let's see here.
I guess I could try to roar on the rat, since I'm the lizard man.
All right, let's see here. Trying to think, what would be a good intimidation? Some of the special roles don't seem to really apply to this, so I think maybe trying to think of, I think a strength, focus would probably be a good role then, since there's no special checks down in your main pages there that would help with this. So if anyone wants to scare it, and if anyone wants to assist, you guys will apply a +1 modifier to whoever's going to roll the check.
I'm just gonna
Maybe
try to...
Yeah, I'll
knowledge
assist.
check on the rat.
What was that there, Quinlan?
Can I do a monster knowledge check on the rat?
Sure. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, first do that.
Technically, we would do that at the beginning of combat, but since we haven't gone into combat yet. But yeah, so looking at the the rat, and since it was pointed out to you, you can definitely do a monster knowledge check. So go ahead and roll that from your character sheet. And just so people are aware, the rules are that the DC is 9 plus the level of the monster. So yours should be the little ghost icon there, Quinlan, in your main section. And you get a 14. So yes.
Nice.
So we have a 5 for your ability score, 2 from your level, and 2 from the skill, for a total of 14. Okay, so rats. What do you want to know about the rats in particular? I mean, you get to know everything, basically, but... let's see here. They have a bite attack with fangs. They have some special abilities. You definitely know that these guys are more nocturnal, and they like to hide in dark places, so they do have dark vision. They can see easily in the dark.
Typically carry diseases?
Yes, they do, actually. They have rat poison. So you have to be aware, to be aware of that as well. And that comes from a bite. So when they bite you, you'll end up having to make a strength resistance check on that. For every hour, otherwise you suffer fatigue and whatnot from it. And let's see here. Giant rat is usually around 50 centimeters long, but can grow up to 1 meter. And since they mainly live in sewers and other areas, they are extremely unclean and are sources of disease. When left alone, they will climb above ground at night or after night, biting and killing children and elderly before eating them. So yes, definitely good to have the rats taken care of here. So that's what you know, and I'm sure you're probably reporting that to everyone there, Quinlan, about the giant rat on your successful monster knowledge check. So, yes, Quinlan, you were recovering knowledge. Ghost, you can add a +1 if you want to assist Dragon Knight, and Dragon Knight, go ahead and roll.
What do I roll?
I'm going to say Strength Focus, because technically Charisma, in terms of 5th edition or Pathfinder 2nd edition, Charisma kind of gets wrapped into Strength, oddly enough.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if I can roll that.
Well, what you'll roll is Strength Focus, because you have to roll one of the combined skills. You don't ever roll the primary or the secondary abilities on their own. You roll the combined ones. So roll me a Strength Focus and add in a +1 from Ghost assisting you. You were breaking up again. What did you say?
It happens.
Nothing's happening?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. It's probably on my end. Oh, I'm not seeing it. All right, let me click it to see what's happening here. Oh, I have an error. Okay. All right, so I have a little problem here. I'm going to show the viewers what's going on. I have an error here. Cannot read properties of undefined reading class list. So that's something I'll have to check and fix later on. So at the moment, unfortunately, because of some refactoring that I did over the week, I've broken some stuff. I'll have to get that fixed. So what I'll need you to do instead is roll 2d6 +7 and then +1. Or +8 total.
+8.
Yeah.
Sounds like a success right there.
Yeah, 14.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, well, I'm gonna. Oh yeah. All right. So what I normally would do, I guess, in this instance is, I don't necessarily know what I would use. I'm gonna say I'm gonna use its spell resistance as a way to resist being scared, and I'm gonna show you its resistance here. So, because this is a minion monster, they have a flat check, and their flat check is an 8. So you get up on it, and with you and Ghost working on, and as Quinlan's talking to you, you do get to jump on the giant rat, and you scare it. It does jump and does like a hiss at you, and then just starts running and bolting off into the forest.
Guess we go after it.
All right. So you guys start to follow the giant rat for some time here, and it's just running from you in a panic, trying to get back to its nest and get away from you all. So we will stay right here for the moment as it's running through the woods. And I'm going to suggest to keep up with this. Because the rat is ducking and dodging and diving through, roots and large trees and around things, you guys can either make an acrobatics check to keep up with this rat, or let's see here. Either you could also see acrobatics or technique focus, or I would say probably just technique focus to keep up with this rat as it's moving along. Now, I suggest acrobatics because if you have the acrobatics skill, that will work, but rolling acrobatics itself will still roll regardless. So you guys can just roll the acrobatics check, and then when it pops up a window, it'll ask focus, endurance, or reflex. Do the acrobatics focus or technique focus. This one should work. There we go. All right. So the giant rat is trying to escape and evade. You guys are definitely keeping up. Now Quinlan rolled a 15, so you get a bonus from your level, from one of your levels there. More than likely from Ranger with their 6. Dragon Knight, you keep up as well, luckily rolling a 14, and Ghost, you end up with a 14 as well. So you're all able to easily follow the rat as it's traversing through the forest here, rushing back to its lair.
Imagine being that rat to fuck off wizards.
Yeah. Now, this does take some time because the rat just runs. You guys are also running after this, and it's such a burst of strength that I'm going to need you guys to also make another check for me to keep up with the rat here. And this one's going to be basically
there is long distance movement.
yeah, that's more for traveling slowly over time.
Alright.
Although, let me see something. What happens with that? All right, that's just that, like that there. I want to say probably, because long distance movement is normally strength endurance. And I'll say either one. So you guys can either roll strength focus or strength endurance to keep up and to kind of bypass this burst of speed that you have to use to keep up with this rat. Now, unfortunately, like I said, those clicks aren't going to work right now, so you have to use the message window down there.
Ooh,
Oh, a 19.
that's the maximum health. Good.
Nice. Yeah, you're
You said
critical.
strength focus, right?
Strength focus or endurance, whichever one's better. Okay, so we got a 13 there from Ghost. And for Quinlan. If you're clicking on the sheet, Quinlan, it's not going to work. You'll have to type it or use the sidebar, the little dice tray. Okay. Okay, good. You all make it. Quinlan, you're feeling it, but you do succeed keeping up with this rat as it rushes through the forest here, running back to its lair. And it's running because, it can hear you all chasing after this rat. So it's running for its life, and eventually it makes its way back to its nest and lair here. So let me do a couple of things here. Okay, and get that preloading there. Gonna switch the music. Okay, I need to put you guys in here real quick.
It's real dark.
Oh yeah. Okay, so as you follow this giant rat, it makes its way to a bunch of a bit of a mounded section in the woods. So there's a hilly area, kind of rocky and whatnot, and it makes its way into this small outcropping of a doorway. The doorway itself looks man-made, but it doesn't look like an actual building. It looks like someone started digging into the dirt and the rock of this small wooded hill here. And it rushes into the building and starts to make some squeaking noises and what have you. So, as you guys get to the... actually, I need to do one quick thing here because it's daylight outside. I need to put in some sunlight. There we go. That's a little better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to add in
And
the
I
light
don't know
source.
if it's something that you need to apply or not, but I also have 60 feet of dark vision.
Okay. You should have that all set.
I mean,
Okay.
I think we all have.
Yeah, you all,
Dark vision.
everyone, let me see, check in vision. I gotta just switch it so you guys have dark vision. Yeah, alright, there we go. Okay, so yeah, you guys all had the 60 feet, but it was set to basic vision. I switched to dark vision, so it's gonna come up in a grayscale when you guys don't have torches or whatnot. Alright, so the rat goes rushing into this dugout and kind of partially man-made cave entrance here. It is a doorway, so it does have stones. It has that typical stone archway with the keystone at the top as you rush into the forest here, but it's just dark. You look in and you can see that steps go down into a small stony room here. Oh, it's starting to rain pretty good now. You know what? Hold on 1 minute. I gotta double check some things. Actually, that should be fine. Everything's pretty much closed up anyways. It's starting to rain. I don't know if you guys can hear that through my mic or not.
No.
Yeah, I can hear it.
A little bit, yeah.
That's really funny. We'll suggest that maybe it's starting to thunder and rain in the game as well. So, what would you guys like to do as you find yourselves at this cave entrance here?
It seems
Let's
you
get
we.
out of the rain.
Yeah. It seems you have found the vermin's nest. You gotta be careful for they fight most brutal when they are cornered.
Indeed.
And as a tank,
Okay. So as a tank,
where
yeah, you guys
do
can
I
hold
go
out.
then in front?
Yeah, you guys can hold out right there. And as you walk in, you see this small landing here in front of you. Everything is kind of large pieces of stone that have been worked into the ground. The staircase descends a few feet down into this small little... I'm not even sure how big this is. Let's see here, because everything's in meters here, so... All right, sorry everyone. We had a bit of a hiccup here. Where Ghost and I live in the world, a storm just barreled through really hard. And we had some severe winds and rain and whatnot. It got so bad that in his area, Ghost's area, there's a tornado warning, which is very unusual for where we live. So that doesn't normally happen all the time. Anyways, now that, my electric has blipped 3 times and it seems to have settled out and the power's back on, the internet's back on, I've had time to debug my code problem. So, as I was saying before, earlier in the game, because I'm going to have to stitch these 2 videos together, I've fixed some errors. So now people can roll from their character sheet in the combined ability score section, which, hooray! Okay.
And they say the global warming is a myth.
Mm-hmm.
What you referred to as the silver lining.
Oh, yes. So, as I was describing for you guys before the power got blipped out on me here, you guys walk down into this section of this cave section in the mountains here, and you can see that there's a lot of worked stone. The walls themselves are probably slate and other types of large boulders to create walls. The ground itself is filled with large slabs of stone as well. The main entrance descends a few steps down into this roughly 4 by 5 or 3 by 5 meter room. And then as you look off to the north here, the room ascends a little bit, a couple steps into a small hallway. And what you see as you come into the room here are several giant rats, especially one that you were chasing after. Now, because you've chased them into their home, we're going into combat. I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative, and technically, normally we would go and do like a stealth check, but because the rats knew you were coming, you knew the rats were going somewhere, we're going to skip over the whole check for stealth, or check for sneaks and whatnot, for surprise rounds. So I'm not entirely sure how this will work initially, so we're going to play this by ear here to roll initiative. But yes, there should be an initiative roller in your guys' stats area. Okay, so I see Ghost is in there. Ghost, what did you click on to get yourself... Did you just put yourself into initiative, or...
Yeah, I put myself into... I clicked on toggle combat state.
Okay, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to look into. When you guys click on the initiative button, that it will toggle your combat state. All right, cool. Good to know.
Yeah, I just did what I normally did in the other game.
Okay, cool.
Could I just leave my
Right,
role
yeah.
as it is then?
Say that one again, Quinlan?
Could I leave my role as it is then?
Yes, leave it as the 4, because you only roll a 2d6 for this one.
I did roll initiative, but though if it counts, I rolled a 6.
Yep. I'm just going to update this because it's not... I haven't worked out initiative working into the system just yet.
Oh yeah.
So I have to update everyone. Let's see here. And Ghost got a 7. All right, so Ghost, you're at the top so far. Let me get some combat music going here. Okay, now I need to... Let me see what happens when I roll initiative here. Oh, good, it's actually rolling correct, but it might not be rolling completely correct. Ah, their initiative is 1d6. Okay. So let's see here.
Yeah, so you just rolled 2 rats worth of initiative.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. Here we go. All right, so that guy got a 1. And then the other rat will be...
A 4.
Yep. All right. Okay, so combat's a little interesting here. We have to determine, like, encounter ranges. The range might actually be proper here, but let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let's see here. Creating an adventure. No, I don't want that. Basic rules. Combat. Order of combat. So we set up combat, and by setting up combat, we check for surprise attacks. We're not doing any surprises. We're determining encounter distance. So the GM should determine a distance between let's see here. Determine a distance between the PCs and the enemies. If playing a pre-made adventure, it'll be provided. Otherwise, the GM should set it according to the situation. To determine this distance randomly, you can use 2d6 times 3 meters outdoors or 2d3 times 3 meters indoors. So let me roll that just for the heck of it, see what would happen here. And we're going to roll 2d3 times 3. 2d3. Roll. Here we go. 2d2 d3 times 3. Let's see if that works. Okay, so 15 meters indoors. Yeah, there's not really 15 meters here, so the rats will be pushed back a little ways. And then, let's see here. I do from here. $8 meters. That's about right. That's close enough. So we'll position the characters. First, the GM positions the monsters. After that, the PCs determine their own individual starting positions. So do you guys like where you're at, or do you want to reposition at the top of the stairs like that?
I mean, I can go to the bottom of the stairs, but...
Well,
Everything supports, so I'm fine where I'm in.
okay. I gotta turn down the music here a bit.
I mean, I can work with where I'm at.
Okay. Well, just for, I was saying, Hair Doctor or Dragon Knight there, from the top of the steps is like your starting zone if you wanted to move back some ways or whatnot. But Otherwise,
No, I'm only melee, so...
yeah. Okay, from there, now that we have that set up, we determine action order, and action order has been set up because, I believe, of initiative. Weigh their wounds, have fatigue, if you're going to flee. An initiative check is only 2d6 plus the bonus from anticipate. No one has anticipate, so this is your initiative. Critical success and failure on initiative checks gives you a +5 on a critical success. A critical failure on the initiative check automatically gives you a 0. And minions have 2 types. There's bosses and minions. Yep. Alright, not too worried about that. Characters act. Okay, so we're going to begin combat.
Battle has begun.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
That was really funny. I set the game to like some kind of epic announcer, and that's what we got. Okay. All right, so we have combat here, and Ghost, you are first, Dragon Knight, you're second, then a giant rat, followed by Quinlan, and 2 more giant rats for round 1 of combat. And for your actions, you can do a movement. And let's see here, what else can you do? You can use an item, you can use a skill, you can attack, use a spell, or attempt to flee if need be. So basically you have two actions. One is to move and one is to do your main action, and then you have a free action. Now, as a reminder from last time, each round of combat is worth 30 seconds, unlike 5th edition and Pathfinder, where rounds of combat are 6 seconds. So technically, you can talk more in 1 round of combat. But yes, by all means, go ahead. Ghost, you are first to go. What would you like to do?
Move to here.
Okay. Now, also reminding,
Should put me...
melee is within 5 meters, so you don't actually have to be right next to a monster in order to attack them. But because you guys are technically at a higher level, I would say in order to get within melee range, you would have to at least be on the ground floor. Otherwise, we'd have to check like Pythagorean ranges and whatnot. So from there, you could technically hit with a melee attack, which is really funny and unusual, but that's how the game works. You get a 5 meter melee range. That's close combat.
What is this?
Interesting.
Extendo fists?
Yeah, no, right? They're punching the air.
Fucking stretch Armstrong over here. Or Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not? Well, we will try to punch him from this distance.
Okay. All right, so you have the rat boy targeted, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I need to bring up another sheet because anything over a 14 on your effectiveness score, when you hit, increases the damage dice of your attack. But
Oh, goody.
I also need to check if the rat dodges or blocks. Now, the rat obviously can only dodge, and as you go in to punch it, it goes to dodge the attack, but its dodge is a flat check of a 9. So, yes, you hit the rat pretty hard here. Now, let me pull up that other sheet real quick and get you your extra dice to roll here. Let's see. Now, unfortunately, the miscellaneous modifier doesn't incorporate d6s at the moment, but we'll just add that in after the fact. Or you can take the damage roll and whatnot, and then do it from the roller there. So, let me see. Goblin Slayer sheets, form fillable. Okay, so this was brought to my attention by someone in the Discord that there's a damage effectiveness table on the character sheet, which is really funny. It's only in the character sheet. So anything 14 and under, you get no bonus to your damage. 15 to 19, you get an extra 1d6. Okay? And then if we get anything higher, you'll get 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Get an extra d6 of damage?
Yeah, that's what the table says.
Wow.
Yep. So go
My
ahead.
base damage for my Bognock's only a D3.
Ooh, man. Okay. So go ahead and roll your damage, and then we'll also add in a D6 on top of that. All right, don't worry about the effectiveness score. Oh, and you have martial arts or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be... I think that's what's giving you the +2 modifier there. So go ahead and roll
Yeah,
another...
I get a +1 to fitness checks, which I think includes my attack rolls.
Yeah, I think so. So go ahead and roll another d6 for your effectiveness score. Oof, okay. So we have a total of 13 points of damage. I believe I'm doing this right. To the rat. And the rat has an armor score of 2, reducing the damage to an 11. And, so you do 11 points of damage, and that rat is dead. Just straight up dead.
He dead.
All right.
Everyone is dead.
Oh, they're all linked. Hold on. I thought I got all these fixed correctly. All right, I have to pull out new rats.
I hit him so hard, his entire family felt it.
I made the mistake of when I put these monsters together by linking the actor data, I didn't realize that was the incorrect thing to do. There we go. Okay, so this rat is super dead. Okay, and that guy is dead, and we need to give him the dead icon. And I need to take care of one quick thing here. Okay, so there was a rat that was going after Dragon Knight, right?
What?
I'm just.
I was going after the rat.
Oh, you were going after the rat?
Yeah, I was shooting it.
No, all the rats were going last.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me double check.
They all had 4 or less.
Oh, right. It was a 4, 4, and a 1.
You call
Yeah.
me a rat?
I mean, the one rat that was there died. So.
Okay. There we go. All right, so everyone is back to where they should be here. All right, and that one rat, the first rat, is no more. He is dead. So I'm just going to make him disappear. Or whatever. All right, so that is your turn, Ghost. And I don't believe you can... I don't know if there's anything in the rules about following up your movement. Like, I don't know if you can split your movement or not, so I don't know. But that is pretty much where you are at currently. All right?
I think that's about my full movement anyway, because I got a move at 20.
Okay.
Make ready, your turn comes.
Unless it's 20 meters, and then that's ridiculous.
No, it's 20 meters.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
20 meters in 30 seconds, so.
Yeah, it is 30 seconds. It's not 6.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, Dragon Knight, it's your turn.
Yeah. Since you said that I'm only going to need to be on the same.
Yeah, you don't have to be right on top of them, like in 5th edition, but you can if you want. That's totally up to you.
Technically, I could try to hit them right now.
Yes, you could, right from there. All right, 1 second. I'll be right back. I got a cat knocking at the door.
Yeah, because I was initially going to move where I did and then throw my chakram. And then he's like, well, you can punch it from there. I'm like, huh?
Oh, you wit.
Oh, fuck it, let's go with that.
Hungry got caught in the stew.
Yeah. I mean,
I got the same bonuses on both my Bognock and my Chakram anyway, so.
Okay, Dragon Knight,
It's
what you
kinda
doing?
funny. Yeah, I'm debating of going here to block off when rats escape and then cut down the one in the corridor.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna move under 3 meters here
Okay.
and then just attack this guy
All right.
with my sword. The broadsword.
Yeah, hit it.
That's wait, minus the modifier? Oh yeah.
Yes, because your sword probably has. Let's see here.
Yeah, took it, yeah.
You have a modifier
then
on
took
something.
it.
Yeah, because your broadsword is technically, I guess, so big and unwieldy that it gives a minus to hit with. But your fighter level did
And that's
count out.
Broadsword, not a barn.
I know. Some of these modifiers are so weird.
It makes no damn sense.
Nope.
Just swinging at it with an oversized tennis racket.
Right?
Though I guess anime's got an anime.
Let me turn off the names for these guys because the names are so big because this map was technically so small that the names are coming in huge.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, they weren't that big when we first came in here.
Yeah, I was about to say the same. Okay, so the rat has a basic dodge checks of flat 9, so
Yes.
I guess I just rolled to hit.
Yeah, roll normal because your effectiveness score wasn't high enough to include extra damage. So it's a normal hit, but not a heavy hit.
6.
Okay.
Roll the 1.
Minimum damage, but still good enough. Still good damage, though. All right, let me see here.
Damage is damage.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So their dodge score is a 9, which means they can't dodge the attack, but you do deal 6 points of damage, but they have fur, which reduces the damage from 6 to 4. So they only
Wait,
take...
it was slashing. That's sword.
What about it?
Doesn't swords have slashing? I don't know if...
Yeah,
maybe-
it should. Some swords do. Let's take a look at your broadsword here. You have parry, strong blow, bludgeon, strong blow, slash, and throwable. Some of these have the slice attribute, which would come in handy for like increased critical ranges. I think. I'm not entirely sure how that one might work. Why am I not clicking off? All right. Anyways. Okay, so the rat is still alive, but in a pretty wounded position from your initial hit, and that is more or less your turn, I believe.
Yeah, I guess I cannot follow up.
Yep.
It is your turn. It will be your turn next.
All right, Quinlan, it is your turn now.
Alright, so if I move down here, could I still hit the rat that Dragon Knight targeted?
Oh yes, definitely. Quite
Alright,
easily.
I'll make an attack roll with my crossbow on him.
All right. Okay, so with your ability score and your modifier, you get a 13 to the attack, and that is enough to bypass its dodge score of a 9. So go ahead and roll damage. No bonus damage, though, because you just missed the threshold. All right, so 5 with a total of 5 for your damage, minus 2 from the fur, and it takes 3 points of damage. And unfortunately, the rat is still alive, but barely, as you can hear, like the squeaks and the hisses as it's been hit by the adventurers here, by Quinlan and Dragon Knight.
Oh, the rat bastard.
All right, up next is one of the giant rats.
It is your turn.
Which giant rat is this? Okay. Oh, I see. All right.
That's the one that was targeted.
Yes, and considering who just hit and how close they are, the rat is going to lash out and attack you, Dragon Knight. And it's going to go for a Fang attack on you. So it has a base score to hit of 12 to hit. So you need to decide, are you going to dodge or do you want to block since you do have a shield?
I'm gonna block.
All right. So go ahead and make a block check for me.
Modifiers.
Oh, yeah.
17.
Yeah, that's really good. Not a critical, though, unfortunately. But still.
I was going to say, is there an effectiveness bonus on blocks?
I think there is. For sure. And there might be something like you can get the shield skill to help increase like the effectiveness and whatnot. All right, so 17 does beat the hit check, which means you do block the damage. And the damage that's coming in is going to be... let's see here. 2. The rat attacks you for 2 points of damage. So you raise up your shield to go and block. Now add in your armor score plus your shield block score for your total damage reduction. Okay, so...
So the damage reduction is 6.
Yes. All right, so you take no damage as you... Go ahead and explain how you block this attack from the giant rat.
I basically just raise up my shield and the rat splats in the middle of it.
This poor rat that's bleeding and has an arrow stuck into him. You just hear a squeak and it just and drops to the ground in front of you and it kind of like shakes its head as it, recoils from the attack. All right, and then up next is the
Your turn.
the last giant rat for first round of combat. Okay, so this rat also goes in for the attack, and the attack is going to be a 12 again, so go ahead and roll your block check, Dragon Knight, as this rat also goes to attack you. Okay,
16.
we have a 16, and that will also be a total block of 6, which means, let's see here, the rat is going to roll its damage, and rolls a 0. So
Damage? What damage?
yeah, exactly. You raise your shield, you block the first one, you hear the other rat squeak and snarl at you and lunges for the attack, and then it just
bounces off my helmet. I didn't even do anything.
yeah, it just totally gets go ahead.
I was going to say, it just starts viciously licking your shield. Just blah, blah, blah.
It like jumps on and like latches onto your shield and it starts like gnawing and licking it, and then you just like whip it off the shield.
It's a Dracula. It scrapes and leaks.
Okay, so we are now officially at the end of round 1 of combat. So we have some things to go through here for the end of combat. And we first have to do effects at the end. Any and all spell effects, skill effects, special abilities, item effects, and other such effects scheduled at the end of the combat of the round do so now, which they don't. Monsters make a morale check. Any minions not led by a boss may run away. This check is made by rolling 2d6 and adding it to their monster morale stat. So, let's see here. So the first... where is their morale? Okay, that's their morale. I actually have to make that into a button. Totally forgot about that. Okay, so...
Whoops.
Yeah, didn't realize that was going to need to be a button. If the result of the check is equal to or greater than the target value of 13, that monster remains on the battlefield. However, if the check comes out to be less than the target value, the minion attempts to flee. So the first one that's pretty bloodied is going to roll, and because it's in such poor health, I'm going to give it a -2 modifier, actually. Okay, so that one is going to attempt to flee. And then for the next one that just like bashed into Dragon Knight's shield and like latched onto it and was licking the shield furiously, is just going to do a standard roll check here. And it also attempts to flee. Let's see here. If the check comes out to be a value, let's see. If the check comes out to be less than the target value of 13. All right, so this one actually sticks around. So that makes a lot of sense. Alright, so when a monster attempts to flee, any PC within reach of that monster, 5 meters, may simply declare that they are blocking the monster's escape in order to do so. However, a single PC can only have a 100% chance to block one monster from fleeing per round. From the second monster on, a movement obstruction check will be required, which is then compared against the monster check score based on the monster intelligence, which in this case is instinct for these guys. A PC stops the monster check, or a monster from fleeing if they win the check. Do not forget to add in the bonus from the number of allies in reach for both the monsters trying to flee and the PCs trying to block them. All right, so
I guess I go up the monster.
yeah, so you're going to attempt to stop the monster from fleeing?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, let me go to... What page am I on? 178? I got to go
You
to
said
153.
it's our 100% chance for one monster.
No, that's the wrong... Oh, intelligence checks? Okay, intelligence checks are made whenever they do that. Think about your... That's not helping me. Let's do 3 here. On monster intelligence. That's a weird... That's really strange. It's not giving me the right link in the book here to figure this out. Based on monster intelligence. Let me see here real quick. Alright, so hold up. Here's an example. The GM says, well, let's find out. The goblin will determine its check score using check scores from monster intelligence. It's just a goblin, so its intelligence is low. It rolled pretty well. Its monster level is 1 plus 2d6 equals 11. Oh, alright. So it's just 2d6 plus its level, I guess. Maybe it's lower for other things, but I can't find anything that says otherwise.
And what do I roll?
Okay, so for you, you're going to roll a movement obstruction check. So that one on your stats page will be the movement obstruction and the hand icon.
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
Okay. So
I guess he's not cutting away.
yeah, no. So just for the sake of rolling this, so my rat is a level 1 monster plus the 2d6. Yeah, with a 5, you definitely stop it. I mean, technically there would be a +1 from the ally rat there that would technically be helping it, and then the other idea would be Ghost, are you going to help? Are you within? Actually, let's see. Is Ghost within 5 meters? No, just out of reach.
Nope.
All right, so technically it would get a +1 because of the ally here within range, but because a 20 versus a 5, that giant rat's going nowhere. Okay, now that we have that taken care of, go back to 175 movement obstruction.
This reminds me of the Spider-Man movie and "You're going nowhere" quote.
Mm-hmm. All right, now everyone go to your character sheets on the stats page and click the very top left attrition box for number 1 because you just finished 1 round of attrition, or 1 round of combat. You have 1 round of attrition.
Oh. So I guess we should clear the combats quickly.
Yes. That is very true. Okay, so we go to the top of round 2, and everyone roll your initiative again, because things can change here.
Okay.
Did something not roll for me? Oh, my initiative
What?
isn't working. Okay, so you guys switched around your initiative. And my initiative is going to be 6. Okay, so my rats are going as a 1 and a 4 here, so they're not really switching all that much.
And I'm going first now.
That makes sense. You are like right down there in the thick of it. All right, so Quinlan, or Dragon Knight, you got an 11. Ghost got a 7, and Quinlan got what was it, an 8? Alright, so Ghost, you're still
Quinlan
at a
got an 8.
Okay. Alright, so everyone, Dragon Knight, you're up, Quinlan, then Ghost, and then the rats.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to hit the rat with the sword again.
Go for it.
That's right. Up. Ooh. 14.
14 definitely bypasses their dodge check of a 9, so you definitely hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. Oh, and you just got a 14 as well. Ah, shit.
7.
Okay, 7 points of damage. And this rat
That 5.
is a goner. The rat is dead.
I guess that. Yeah, I guess I could right now go here and try to block the other rat from escaping.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my turn.
All right. Quinlan, you're up with Ghost on deck.
I travel further down the stairs, and I'm going to fire from here.
Okay.
Why would you give up your high ground?
They still got cover, though. Okay, that's a 16, which means you hit the rat even harder than normal. So go ahead and roll your damage, and add after you roll the damage on the bow, add in another d6 for me. Excellent. Okay, so we have a total of 8 minus 2 for a total of 6 points of damage. And the rat takes a heavy blow to the neck, and his blood starts to squirt out the side of it, and it squeals in pain, but it's still alive as it's starting to thrash about. And I believe that is your turn, Quinlan.
Yes, it is.
All right, Ghost,
It
you're
will
up.
be your turn next.
Ooh, an 18.
Let the punching commence.
Oh, man. All right, so the 18 definitely beats their dodge check of a 9. And go ahead and roll damage plus a d6 for the effectiveness of a heavy hit. All right, so that's going to be 12
Almost max
minus
damage,
2,
too.
and that is 10 points of damage, yes. And that rat squeals in pain as the punch, you just kind of like, I don't know, you tell me, how do you defeat this rat?
Yeah, seeing as how it's distracted with Dragon Knight, I'm just gonna run up along the side of it and just a straight, like, just down punch, like, you know how they do, like, brick breaking?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yep.
right onto the back of its neck.
Oh. And you not only do you hear the snap of the spinal cord, but the wooden portion of the arrow as well just cracks and breaks from the bolt that Quinlan shot into it. And combat is over. Now, unfortunately, that was 2 rounds of combat, so I do need you all to add in a second attrition on your attrition track, please. And as a reminder, when you hit that 5th round, you get 1 point of fatigue. So it's not terrible, but this is the wear of combat on you guys, on your bodies and whatnot.
Can I recover my other crossbow bolt?
Sure, yes. So you'll have 9. Technically, I think in the rules, you're technically not allowed to, but because of how few bolts you have, that you can carry at one time, totally you can recover any ones that aren't broken. All right, and what would you like to do next? Now that combat has subsided.
Yeah, we're gonna until everyone gets ready to move forward, I'm gonna stand in the doorway to watch out if nothing else is gonna jump at us.
Okay. All right, so you want to double check make sure nothing's going to come and jump out at you?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you go ahead and make an observe check for me? And while Dragon Knight's doing that, what's everyone else doing? Quinlan's recovering his one bolt.
I would actually like to stealth and start moving ahead.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check. Give me that stealth roll. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, so your stealth check resulted in an 11. Did you do focus? 'Cause I think it comes up with
Technique focus, yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that's the one I needed. I forgot to tell you which one you should be using, but you got it. All right, so an 11. I'll have to compare how that works, but go ahead and you can, if you want to start scouting ahead, by all means, go ahead. Dragon Knight, you hear the squeaks and the shuffles of more giant rats in the area, but you also hear something else that sounds a little unfamiliar. And as you guys move down here, Ghost, you notice this, as well as Dragon Knight. As you come into this area here, you see a series of more giant rats, and they seem to be kind of hissing and have their cockles raised up and whatnot as they hiss and stare down a skeleton in the back of this room here that seems to be attacking and fighting the rats off, or at least trying to slay them and kill them. And as...
Undead?
What's that?
I'm just gonna murmur under my nose, undead?
Oh, yes. Someone dead in this room here. And as you move in here, the skeleton turns its head and looks at you and starts chattering its teeth and begins to move in your direction, Dragon Knight. And that's where we notice that it's moving so slow that we might not see it hit you until next week or the next time. So we'll be back here, because we're going to end with all the technical difficulties we've been having today and the storm that went through. We're going to end tonight's game here as our first run into the Goblin Slayer game here. So let me end the recording, and then we will chat afterwards. Thank you guys for trying this out, and I want to get your thoughts on this afterwards here. So thanks again, and hopefully, the next time we get a chance to play this, more of the game will be ironed and fleshed out.